I'm sure by now you've been informed that we also drafted Jordan Clarkson from the University of Missouri. And with the 46th pick, Washington drafted him on our behalf. Ball handling guard that we're excited about drafting and looking forward to getting him in Los Angeles as soon as possible, hopefully participate in Summer League, which starts in Las Vegas in about 2 weeks.
Clarkson, are we done?
Ball handling guard.
What'd you have to give up to acquire him?
Cash.
No pick? Just that?
Cash. Yeah, no pick.
You pretty happy with your 2 picks overall?
Yeah, we are. I mean, it's rare when we're not happy. You know, you rank your players, and when you end up with a player or two, most times you get a player that you thought would be gone, and that's the case tonight. We got 2 players that we had valued higher than where they went in the draft. Now, obviously, Julius, we're talking, 2 or 3 slots, but Jordan Clarkson, we thought he might be gone in mid-first round. So to get a guy like that at 46, we're pleased.
Mitch, where do things stand with the coaching search?
Excuse me?
Where do things stand with the coaching search?
I don't think that we'll have a coach in place, between now and the beginning of free agency, which is really Monday night. We've been concentrating the last week or 2 on the draft. Prior to the draft, we interviewed 4 or 5 people. We may continue to interview, but we have a pretty good feel, of what's available, and we're comfortable that we can get a good coach. Probably the beginning of July.
Did prospective free agents have any input on that?
Not really. Not really. I think more importantly would be the draft, who we got in the draft, 2 players, and I guess to some degree how we fare in free agency. The style of player that we procure, whether we bring black players from our team last year, and we'll look for a coach that can coach the players that we have.
Have you narrowed down the options to just a few, or still open to more interviews with other people?
We've narrowed it down a bit, and without going into great detail, obviously, we're comfortable that we'll be able to secure a coach that we're very pleased to have. The very late June or the beginning of July.
How active do you think Kobe's going to be, or expect Kobe to be in the free agency process, getting out there, recruiting for you guys, and how
My understanding is that a lot of the players, at different levels talk to each other, and quite frankly, I don't know what they say. They do recruit each other, and I would not be surprised if Kobe reaches out or if free agents reach out to Kobe. I know from time to time when we recruit free agents, I'll call Kobe and say, hey, give this guy a call. We did it with Steve Nash, a couple of years ago. So it's not unusual, for either when we do it, obviously it's after July 1st. Players talk year round. And I think Kobe's out of the country right now, so I don't know how accessible he would be. But they talk.
do you want to use him in any sort of?
I'm not sure what the rules. I mean, first of all, you can't direct Kobe what to do. He's gonna. We have great candid conversations. But if he's not on board, then he's not gonna just not. Why would he put his heart in something that his heart's not in? So the rules don't allow that. We direct him anyway. Post July 1st, I could ask him to make a phone call.
A lot of people seem to think Byron is the front runner for the coaching spot. Is that accurate?
Byron is a candidate, and we've interviewed Byron twice, and both interviews went well.
So it's a yes?
I didn't say that's my answer.
trading the 7th pick before today, or earlier today? Before the
We had several opportunities, but nothing really made sense. We always felt, going back, probably about a month ago, that we get a good player at 7. And we think we did.
There's so few guys under contract on this team as of a few days from now. Is there any way to describe what the first week or two of free agency is going to be like? It's going to be pretty chaotic now.
Yeah, it will be. We made the job a little bit easier today. We got 2 players. So now we're up to 6. And you got to get to 13. So, but it's nice. It's nice to almost be halfway through.
Mitch, without commenting on any specific names, just the way that, looking at the league landscape over the last several weeks and the amount of players that have opted out that will become free agents, do you feel even more confident about the way you plan your salary cap space to free up, this summer, pursue some of these people that could be out there?
Yeah, we don't exactly know, who's going to be in the class of 214. We know a little bit more now than we did a week ago, but we still don't have a complete picture, and we won't have it until June 30th. Having said that, the class is a large class, but in terms of the best, there's only a couple, 3, really, it's a good class, but in terms of today, who might be at the very top, it's maybe it's not as large as it might be next year or the year after. And keeping that in mind, we structured our salary knowing that, hey, you might not get 2 or 3 guys, but we have enough room to get at least 1. And if we don't have 1 and we choose to, we can go down the road and have flexibility next year and the year after that.
Mitch, usually the pitch that you make is pretty much the same every year, right? Point to the trophies and say this is LA. I mean, is that what you do when you recruit free agents this year?
Point to the trophies and say this is LA?
And the history of,
Oh, we do more than that.
I mean, what is the pitch? What's the Lakers?
Well, it depends. I mean, sometimes you have to go to their city, and then you can't point to the trophies. Sometimes they come here. Sometimes you have to go to an office in Beverly Hills and meet there. So, and every situation is different too. It's unique. Every player looks at things differently, and a lot of times, free agency is conducted by phone at midnight on June 30th. Certain free agencies are a process. That maybe roll out 4 or 5 days, involves a presentation, may involve a trip on an airplane. So it's different. Sometimes Steve Nash was done with phone calls. I never met him until we signed him. So it depends.
How would you answer some of the potential concerns just involving the health of Kobe and Steve and just the fact that so many players?
Well, Kobe's fine. Okay. I mean, obviously he has to prove that, but he's been in here working out, and you wouldn't know. He looks great. He has to perform at a level next year to prove that, but he looks great. I mean, Steve Nash's, injuries are well documented, and he wants to play though. And he comes by from time to time. He says he feels great. I don't think it's a position that we can rely on right now. I think we have to look at that position and make sure it's covered.
Which you guys have always swung for the fences. Do you expect to be a participant if you have free agency?
That remains to be seen. We're prepared. If any of those players, do want to make a move, we're prepared. And if we get word, when we're allowed to get word, we will go all out. And there's only so much you can do. The rules, at least financially, are such that, for a max player, you're talking taking 30 to 35 million less to make a move. There are some players, that are willing to do that, and some players just aren't. But we are prepared with enough space, to be aggressive.
Do you feel like this is the same kind of the pitch has to change for this generation of players? Is it the same pitch that you make now that you did 5 years ago to those type of elite players?
Like I said, every situation is unique. We're still going to pitch that this is a championship franchise, and that's going to be our goal. As long as Kobe's on this team, we have to believe that, we can contend for a championship. And we have plenty of flexibility. We think we got, one really good player. We got another good player in the draft. They're rookies. Certainly you don't expect a whole lot out of them. But we'll be able to attract and develop good players here.
You guys good?
Well, I mentioned earlier we had him ranked a lot higher, and he's got great size. 6'3.5" bare feet, so he's about 6'5" ball handling guard. Good athlete. Really good size, good defender. Excels probably attacking the rim. Maybe not as good a shooter as he will be when he works on it. He left school a year early, transferred. So I'm sure he was thinking that maybe he'd get drafted higher, and maybe he has a chip on his shoulder, an expression you've heard today. Come out and prove something. But we liked the size, and we liked, his skill at that position.
Mitch, you guys have a bunch of free agents, and Powell is just one of them, but can you speak to how he may be a priority versus the rest of the other free agents you have to consider moving forward?
Yeah, it's going to depend. Powell and I spoke a lot during the season, a lot during the postseason, and we let him become a free agent. And I know it's something that he's looking forward to. He loves Los Angeles, and he'd love to stay here. He'd love to continue to win. But it is a pretty active marketplace, or it will be, and he's going to have some options that are probably pretty good. We're going to have to sort through, our challenges, and there are scenarios where Powell would be back, or we'd pursue him. And there are scenarios that he wouldn't be back, or that he chooses to go someplace else.
Mitch, to be clear on Randall, as of today, he will not have any procedure in this foot. Congrats.
That's correct. That's correct.
So only if he has some sort of complication then.
Yeah, he's not had any problems. I think Kentucky played 40 games this year, and he played in every game. So I don't think he missed a game because of his foot. During the spring, he didn't, play much because he was preparing for the draft. He did a lot of workouts. But we don't expect that there'd be any kind of a preemptive, surgery. I guess it's something that we can look into, but it's not something we expect right now. He's played the full season. He's had no problems, and he worked out during the spring, although a lighter load than you would during the season, and didn't have any problems. But we're aware of the injury, and we'll monitor it, and, Summer League's coming up. We'll see.